Good morning, everyone. Today I am here to show you some recycling craft idea. Why I am creating this video today is basically I just want to do this as my token of gratitude towards Mother Earth. As we all know, 22nd April being the Earth Day. So I thought of giving something back to Mother Nature. So, and I can do it with the help of teachers and students. So this is a small video I'm going to prepare using some art tricks and some recycling craft and some material which is available at our house only. And we can use it to recreate, decorate some nice things. And this can be used in schools as a competition. If any teachers want to hold a competition in their schools or in their classes, or they want to encourage their students to do something creative on this Earth Day. This will be, this will be a kind of gratitude from all the educators as well and from the students as well. So let's start. I will not waste much of the time. So what I'm doing, what I'm using today is what I've done to create a base for my work. I'm using I'm using a tabletop as my glass sheet. The reason why I'm using a glass sheet is because when it's very easy to just clean off whatever colors are spread. It's easy to clean off. Other way, what we can do is we can either put a transparent sheet or a plastic sheet or just a newspaper, so that once my work is done, we can just wrap up the newspaper and throw it simply. Or or if you're doing it on the floor or you're doing it on the table, it may create a mess. So sometimes when the students are doing, usually we get scared, okay, it will be a mess, so we avoid to do that activity. I suggest not to do that. We can always find a solution, like we can just spread something down and we can start off our work. So let's start. So here what I'm using is, this can be a shawl or a scarf or a dupatta, chunni, whatever, just plain fabric we can use. And we can also do, like I'm showing you a technique called tie and dye. So either we can use a scarf like this, any fabric can be used, maybe some fabric which is there in your house. And especially if I'm talking about the teachers or the ladies who are watching me, they can use it to, create a multicolor dupatta for themselves. Supposingly, you have a dress and you don't have a matching piece of dupatta. So we can always use a white fabric. Or sometimes what happens on a fabric, we get some stain, some kitchen stains like turmeric or something of that sort, wherein now we feel like, oh, I cannot use it. So it's not like that. If you have got a turmeric stain, use your yellow color. And if you have got some some stain, brown stain like a coffee or something, use a brown color. And you can have a combination of two different colors and create your own ideas as well. So and for your trials, I can give you one more tip is, I use this wet tissue wipes. Usually you can buy this in any 1-2 dirham shop. It's easily available. Like 2 dirham, you can get the wet wipes. So it's also a handy thing for the teachers if they don't want to, use the water and all in the classes. So they can use the wet tissues. And what all things I'm going to use, first of all, let me just show you the items, the material, what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the fabric. I mean, the chunni, stall, dupatta, whatever you have as a basic fabric, or you can do tie and dye on a t-shirt. Like I have got the t-shirt, you can create your own style. You can you have just a normal plain t-shirt. This can be brought from any 1-2 dirham shop. If you have any old t-shirt which has got pale or it has got stain of some particular like chemical or something from the kitchen or any kind of stain, so you can reuse your t-shirts. And for ladies, it can be the normal kurtis and all, anything. Basically, any fabric we can do tie and dye. And the colors I'm going to use is, I'm going to use acrylic colors. I have few nice shades of it. I can show you. Usually, white I use for the decoration part, like if I have to give some outlining or I have to put some names, anything. So, and these are the colors, the bright colors I'm going to use it today. Here are the ones. So we don't use poster color or the watercolors. We use acrylic color because acrylic colors are the permanent color. When you are buying, you will see here acrylic color. Funbo is a good brand. You may get different brands also. You can choose whatever you want to use, but acrylic color goes well. And acrylic colors are very versatile colors. Like this can be used on fabric, this can be used on plastic, this can be used on paper. So it's a multi-use color. So I would recommend rather than buying a poster color, you can use acrylic color because you may use it for different materials. And as I'm going to show you, other than fabric, some one or two ideas also I can show you, wherein these things every home will have. For example, like this kind of empty box, every house will have this. Or we all use curd in our house, like the curd box, a very common thing which every house use. So these are the few ideas what I can show you. You can create any of this and just reused and pamper yourself with more creativity and more fun. When you will use your own creation, you will feel nice using it. So let's start. And I'm using water. I have colors, I have water. If you don't want to put the bowl or something, you can always use a spray. Spray becomes handy, and if the teachers are doing in their classes and they feel like there will be a spillover or something, you can ask your students to make the cloth wet at their house and bring it in a plastic bag. I mean, or a polythene bag, whatever, so that in the class you will not have to run for the water or something. The fabric is already wet. So the first step, what we are going to do is we are going to wet the fabric. And for the trials, if I can show you different techniques on the small paper. I mean the small wet wipes. So here I'm using small wet wipes. I can show you some different different techniques. So you can choose which technique or which idea suits you better. So I'm just my wet wipes, I just kept it out so it is little dried up. So, but when you are buying the wet wipes from the market, it's already wet. So you may even no need to have the water. So this thing can work out easily if you are doing a crafting activity in schools. So here I have my wet wipe. And this can be any piece of fabric which you have a waste fabric in your house. Usually we have got, some bed sheets or things like this. We have spare in our house, so we can use that. So now this is my wet fabric. As you can see, I have a little this dirty thing. Basically, it was folded and, the color has come on this. So, but it's perfectly fine for our use because even if it is not plain white, this is perfectly fine for our work. Now I'm going to use a brush wherein I will use some color. Uh, Here I'm using two colors. I'm going to use yellow and green. I recommend green always because green signifies growth, and anyhow it's a Earth Day, so it's good to use the green color. And this combination anyways is a very nice bright combination. I'm using some water here, just putting it aside a little bit just to make my brush white. So here is my brush, and now what I'm going to do is on this fabric, this is my rectangular fabric, and I'm going to use a yellow color in the center I'm creating a circle. Well, this can be a very good idea when you want to teach the smaller kids different type of shapes and they love playing with the colors. They will learn this shapes as well. So here I'm using a circle and I'm going to make a few semicircles around. I'm using a thick layer of it. The reason being it will absorb the color. So I'm using few semicircle. There is no fixed design or like, you have to have a circle of this length, this size. It's nothing like this. Whatever we create, it's perfectly fine. That is the reason, even if any educators, they want to give this to their small kids also, this will work well. And now I'm showing you in the corner. So you can always tell, like, if I'm doing on this corner, so what is this? This is a triangle. So here I'm teaching the students triangle. And when we are doing it with the adults, if we're doing with the adults, so this is more of a kind of color combinations we can teach them. And we can also teach them how to blend the different colors. And it can be also like, understanding of primary and secondary colors. So here is what. This is my pattern now. And now it's not compulsory that we have to use two colors. We can actually use one color also. And this is very good idea for the students who want to create some recycling craft in your classes. And I'm sure when you do this, you will enjoy doing it. And when you use it, then also you will enjoy. It's a fun activity. Any grade students can try this out. So now, once I'm done with my pattern, I'll show you how it looks. So this is how my pattern looks like. Now, next, move to the next one. Now from the center, what I'm going to do is I'm just taking my fabric from the center, just from the center like this. And then I am squeezing it this way. You can see because the fabric was white, so the color will spread in such a way that it will blend together. So here, if we are using some primary colors, it will give me one secondary color. For example, if I'm using yellow and red, one third color I will get as an orange. So here we can see the nice blending of colors as well. So this I will just keep it aside for a while and I will show you one more such idea. Like again, I'm taking a wet white. This is a different design I'm going to show you. I'll just clean off my stuff first because there is a color over here. And in fact, this also can be used. So net zero. I hope the 9th and 10th graders will know what is net zero. So I've just cleaned my table because this was already a glass. So once I clean, I'll get this. See, even this thing I can use. So if I have, see the nice blending of color, and this thing can be used to, I'm just blending it random. Okay. See the nice blend. Now this can be used to cover your boxes like this. And here I can just put some glue and Good to go. Just wrap it. I can decorate this one by putting some embellishments. I can decorate this one by using the acrylic color itself. So here, I have not wasted anything. It's net zero. No wastage, absolutely no wastage. You can see my clean desk. Hope you enjoyed this idea. So this is one. And the other one I showed you, the second idea. Now, let me show you one more trick here. This we call Shibori. Shibori is actually Shibori is a Japanese style. In India, we call it bandhani, bandage. It's basically a resistance technique. What we do is we use some resistant technique, like when I'm using some in Indian ancient art, which is called bandage, uh, very popular in Gujarat, Kutch. Prominently, it's being used in Kutch. So what the handcrafters used to do in the olden days is like they used to tie some small mustard seed or some uh, pulses or whatever, they just tie it with the thread. And then there were some big containers wherein they will put water, they will put dye, and they will put the fabric, and then they just boil it off. So what happens is after they take it out from the big vessels and all, they make it dry, and then they open up the thread. When they open the threads, that the textures or the look which comes up, like it's spreading of colors and all, you can see that is called bandage. So now using these acrylic colors and all, it has become a very simple things for us to use. We don't need to use those traditional stuff like boiling it, and then it's not practical doing, and it's very time consuming, and today we all don't have a time. So these are very few tricky fast things. And like what I showed you, this what we did, this one, actually if you want, you can even put a thread or you can put a rubber band, so you can create some more interesting effects to it. So now, uh, coming back to the shibori, like as I told you, in India we call it bandage. In Japan, they call it as a shibori. Shibori is a popular one. So here it is good to go for if I have to do some effects in a vertical arrangement. So I'm just putting my folds like this, and I'm going to just twist it a little bit, and at random I'm going to put some colors. I'm going to use some different color now. Here, as I showed you a combo of green and yellow. Now I'm using blue. I'm using some blue and also using some yellow. Well, this technique can be used for any item like on fabric. If you want to use it, say you want to do cushion covers, pillow covers, bags, your covers for your notebooks, and anything. It's such a versatile idea, and it is so quick. You don't need to waste too much of time, but you still enjoy the interesting effect. So here I go. Again, I'm using three brushes here. The reason why, because I don't want to just mix up my color, but if you don't have three brushes, it's perfectly fine, and not necessary that you have to have the brush only. We can always use the sponge. We can just how I use it. So we can always use sponge, or we can use earbuds. Yeah. So I'm using three different brushes. If you don't have, it's perfectly fine. We can always, as I told you, you can use sponge. You can use sponge. It's very easily available. Like for example, if you are having like kitchen sponge. Like usually in every house we have got the kitchen sponge. So just cut some pieces of it and you dab it in the color and use it. So now I have three brushes as I showed you right now. So what I'm going to do is just keep it aside so that it becomes a clear view for you. I'm putting this. Now what I'm going to do is just water, and now I'm dipping it in blue color. Just just see this interesting effect when you put your color, because this is already wet. So this will, it's already wet. So the color is will spread automatically. I will show from the center. This is what I was telling you, that how you can see clearly the blending of colors and creating a third color. I'll just show you the interesting one. I'm using two colors and I'll show you the third color here. These are the primary colors. We all know that. Well, here it's not mandatory to follow some specific sequence or some kind of sizes and all. I'm just doing it random. I'm just enjoying doing it. And that's it. Now I'm turning it backwards so that here also I'll get a proper color. Here, because here I have the marking. So I'm simply putting the colors. Well, I can do it any combination. I can use two colors, three colors, try creating my own interesting effects. And here, the best part is there is no set rules. Whatever my heart says, just do it and have some fun, play with the colors. Even if you have never touched the colors, still you will enjoy doing it. That is for sure. Just try it out. So here I go. Now, what I'm going to do is just fold it. I will simply fold it and nothing else. See here, the best part of this is you can create as many designs simply by folding and using different shapes. As I told you, there is no set rules. You are allowed to create your rules, break your rules. So here we go. Again, I am going to use my this same tissue. If I need one more, I can simply use one more fabric or one more wet wipes. It's perfectly fine. But as of now, I will clean only with this one. And my job is done. It's so simple. Okay. This will also create some marbling kind of. See this. Isn't it a great idea? And zero waste. So let me just put it nicely. So I'm folding it this way, and I'm going to just stick it. I'll show you how will I do the finishing of this. Let it get dry, then I'll paste this one. Now let's get back to the one which I created the first. Here we go with the magic. The moment I open, I see a very nice pattern over here. I hope you enjoyed this, and let me show you the other one. Here we go. Here is my next one. See this lovely pattern. So for the students, if you feel that you want to give something to your mommy, you might have spoiled some nice dress of her. Just renew it and make her happy. Okay, so I will just keep it for drying and I will be back. Hi, so welcome back. Now as my the other stuff is getting dried, now is the main fun. Now I'm going to show you the dupatta. I'm going to do a artwork on my dupatta, and also I'll show you the t-shirt. The t-shirts and all you can buy in any 1-2 gram shop, or as I told you, any old t-shirt also, if you want to renew that, that also is good one. So let's see this. So this is my fabric. If you are using a very thin fabric, you should be using little color. Like I'm using little thicker fabric. This is proper cotton fabric. So here I will use more color because, the thicker the fabric, of course, it will absorb the color, and I want it to be on the both sides. Like I want it, my dupatta or this stall to be very colorful. So I want the color should be on this part and this part as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just folding it first, and I'm going to use a thicker layer of it. So now as you see, here I have a bigger fabric. A similar kind of technique, what I showed you, the shibori in a vertical way. So here I'm going to use the same idea here. Now I have this long strip now. What we can do is like resist art also we can call this. So we can just, put some clips, or you can just tie it with the thread or with the rubber band on some gaps like this, or just keep on coloring if you want to do in a multiple color. As I'm going to use 2-3 colors, so I'm just folding it in such a way that I can create the effect in all the layers. I'm simply folding it. First, I took a long strip and then I have folded it in this way. Now, this is my fold. Now, what I'm going to do is I will just color on this part. Make sure that your fabric is completely wet, upside down, everywhere. It should not be dried because the color what we want to put in, it will be spread over. So to give a very brilliant kind of effect, a nice effect, what we are going to do is the fabric should be wet. And if you feel it's little dried up, just make it wet with your hands. Just little bit of water and just simply make it. Okay, so I'm done with the fabric. Now I will put it down so that you can see this easily. I'll see the front. Again, a combination of right now I'm not tying any thread or something, but if you want to, you can try it with the different effect. I'm just using with the fold. And what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to use some different lines and pattern as this, because the straight one I have already showed you. So now here I'm going to use it like this. Just some wavy lines, and that's it. Again. This is a very practical way of recreating your old stuff, making some new things, or giving a new look to your old stuff. No, I'll use blue. I can see I can put some dot, some straight line. If I want, I can use like the same way of how I have done some zigzags. Some waves, or even it can be some straight line. Whatever I want, I can just play around. I can even put some dots, or the corners, I can just put a straight line also. It becomes easy on the corners to put a straight line. The same way, what I'm going to do, whatever here I have created, the impression will be there on the backside as well. So till the time I get that impression, I can just, redo the thing so that, or I can just put little bit water so that the color will go down. I just need a simple, idea or some simple line on the backside so that I can see the color. Or I can do even like this. I can just hold it like this and I can color inside. But rather than doing this way, I would prefer doing the other way around. I will just put it like this. And here, when I press, I will get the impression. So I'm going to just color it like this on the back side of it. And from here, if you see from here, this side as well, I'll show you. From this side, you can see the colors. I cannot find the color. This side we can see our colors. So this will give an idea of which color I have put. So here I can see yellow. So I'm just putting yellow. Here I can see yellow. I'm putting here the same. And don't worry, even if you see some blue color coming here and all, don't think that this is getting spoiled or something. Nothing happens. Just play around and have fun. I'm putting a thick layer of color. The reason I told you my fabric is very thick, like it's a thick proper cotton. So if the fabric is thicker, I need to put more color so that this is absorbed well and the color reaches to all the layers. So this is what about my, I'll take some more blue. Like for example, if you want to do a tie and dye on some bed sheet, of course you will have to put more color. But trust me, that will be your fastest decorative bed sheet. You can renew your old bed sheet and you will see the fun. You'll enjoy that colorful bed sheets or the pillow cover when you will actually use it. And this for the school students, particularly if you want to make your project style and all, this will be a very impressive thing. Just, take some fabric, do tie and dye on that. Once it is dried, cover your book nicely with that fabric and see the interesting effect. Your project report will definitely create a very nice, impressive idea wherever you are going to present it. So that's it. Okay, so now I'll just keep it for drying. Drying means it should take depending on how thick your fabric is. But generally, like how I have opened the other one, you can open, but preferably let it dry for some time. Probably, and half an hour, 1 hour you should give so that it gets dry properly. And again, if you want, you can squeeze it off. Don't do too much of squeezing because the pattern will be distorted. So just a little bit you can squeeze it off for the interesting effect. And if you don't want to twist it, that is also perfectly fine. So I'll just keep it aside to make it dry. And again, the same way, I have to clear my stuff. Just give me a while, please. Now, I'm going to show you how do I do tie and dye on this t-shirt. One idea is I can use the same way. I can just fold it in a vertical way, like how I did with the other for the stall. I can just fold it the same way how I did the folding in that one and just leave the sleeves part, okay, till this point. I'll just fold it like this. And then sleeves, I will just, this sleeve I'll round on right and the other sleeve I am putting it on the left side. This is because I should get the color properly on the shoulders. So one I have folded toward the left and the other is toward the right. So when I open, the colors will look spreading on both the sides this way. Okay, but there is no, it's also not very mandatory that it should look like, even if you are doing it, because it's such an effect, even if you are doing it on the same side, still it will look fine. Okay. So now this is how, and I can simply do the coloring how I did in my vertical design I showed you. Now here, to give you a more idea, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in a different fold. So this I'm going to fold in a vertical way. Sorry, from a diagonal way. Because vertical I have already shown you. Now this is being a t-shirt, I'll show you in a diagonal way. So just start folding it like this. And here. Just fold it till the end and then start coloring. Like the coloring again in the same way, how I showed you in the vertical pattern, the same way you can do. So when the color effect will come, it will come in a diagonal pattern, like, if you will open after that. See, it's only a game of how you fold it and put your colors. So the colors will come like this, spreading. Now here, I will show you a simple, this one I'm going to do in this, like how I showed you the first one, circle and the semicircle. So this one I'm going to do with the circle and the semicircle, but I'm going to use some rubber bands and some clip in this. If you don't have the rubber band and clips, still you can do this. So here we go. So now this is my t-shirt and the pattern I'm going to use it with the circles and the semicircles. So now here I'm going to take some water just to make my brush wet and dip it in the water, and the same thing how I showed you. Here, see, if we have a bigger fabric wherein we are doing this, using this technique, I should use a thick brush. And if you are doing on a small piece of fabric, for example, a kitchen napkin or a small pouch or a bag, in that you can simply use the small brushes. But if I'm using on a bigger surface, like t-shirt is a big, so I'm using a big brush, so my work is done faster. And it's not necessary that you have to do this in a palette. I can just drop the color like this also. Just create some interesting semicircles. Just spread the colors and create some semicircles like this. Again, you can see the directions. I'm changing the direction. It's not exactly in, like I'm not doing this semicircle exactly as a circular thing. But still, this gives me a very interesting effect. So now, to do the yellow ones. Again, even for the yellow, I will just put it directly. I'll create some semicircle here, some here, a little bit here. I'm not putting as of now on the sleeves, just putting it, this, just spreading it. And here, purposely, I'll put some color on the corners also, so that on the corners, this looks nice. I made it a triangle here. So I'll show you the sleeves also. Just completing this one first. I'll show you the exact pattern. Let me show you the exact pattern, how it looks. Just hope it is clear. See, the shirt is like this now. And now I'm going to do it on the sleeve part. So here is the pattern and here is my sleeve. I have to do this shift very carefully. Okay, now here is my sleeve. In my sleeve, I'm going to use some blue color. I'll just spread it like this. Similar way on the other side. Hmm. Now, the same way how I did with the fabric in the rectangular one I showed you. The same way I just take it like this and I'm going to squeeze. Here, once I'm done with this, just, the color should spread evenly. I'm using now my rubber bands because this is bigger. So it's better if I use the rubber bands so the colors will spread properly. And one important thing here is, suppose after we open it, we feel that somewhere the color is less and somewhere it looks more. We can just balance it with the brush as well. So here, I'm just putting the rubber band and I'll have to leave it for drying it for an hour or so. So once this is completely dried, then I can open it. Well, I will show you right now also, I will show you the effect, how it looks. But first I will show you the one that dupatta, what I have done. So I'll show you the dupatta one, how it looks. And then I will open this. But ideally, you should wait for some time, at least an hour or so, put it in sunlight or it will be better. So now, I'll open up this dupatta. You can see this effect of our dupatta. Once this is dried completely, this will have a proper, this is how it will come. Okay. Hope you enjoy this, and I will show you the t-shirt also. So now I have opened this and see how it looks. Once we open, still it has to dry, and you can see the third color. I have used only two colors. I used only two colors, blue and yellow, and you can see the green one. So this is how it works. So I'll show you again once this is completely dried. So hope you enjoyed this. I'll come back soon. Once this is completely dried, I'll show you the final thing. And one important thing you should always remember, in case of wearable art, for example, I am talking about dupattas or any kind of fabric wherein you are using these colors, acrylic colors. One important thing you have to remember is once this is completely dried after 24 hours, suppose I have done my artwork today. So tomorrow I have to iron it nicely. You can use any newspaper on the top of the fabric, which is dried completely, and then just iron it nicely. Because what happens when you put an iron, the colors become permanent colors. So once this is completely dry, next day, iron it completely. And one is it will give you a very nice finish. That is one thing. And then after, you should not put it in water for at least 3 to 4 days. After that, you can wash it. You can, it can be a machine wash as well. There is no problem. And absolutely, this doesn't, that color doesn't come out. Like you can do a machine wash or whatever and need not to worry about that your color will come on some other clothes. Absolutely no. So that is perfectly fine way of, decorating your wearable stuff. Any kurtis, dupatta, tops, stalls, whatever you want to do, tie and dye, just enjoy and go ahead. So I'll come back once it is dried. So now here is our final thing, and let's have a quick recap. This is what I have used: a curd box and the tie and dye stuff which we have done. Just wrap it around and made it a nice sweet box, or you can use it as a festival gifting box. Then here is our t-shirt, and this is the one, remember we use the waist thing, it has been converted into a pen stand. And what all else we use is a bowl of water and a plate and few brushes, and here is the scarf what we have done. So this is all about, and I will be waiting for your entries. You, whatever your creations, you can put it in the comments on your YouTube, and we will be waiting for your ideas. Thank you very much.